As about section of my YouTube channel shows, my videos are dedicated to international organized crime. There are a lot of videos on illegal arms trade, so if you type arms, you can see how many videos are on illegal arms trade. This is not really about that, but anyways, this is related. In terms of cover-up, this is an extremely important video on that. This as well, and this is a detailed explanation on illegal arms trade in Serbia and probably Western Balkans. So this is also important, and so on and so on. So as can be seen also in my videos, especially here, military was so not any member of military but police major. He was intimidating me, and of course that was not direct, and they probably tried to bribe me, and in other videos I mentioned that police was also intimidating me. So I'm now going to show who is behind this. Of course, the one who is at the top of this are pieces of shit from United States Embassy in Belgrade, and let me see one more thing. Okay, anyways, so I explained in one more video why United States Embassy, that's the video. So I'm not going to give details again because I did that already in those videos. So I'm now showing three ministers, former ministers of defense, who are behind this. Of course, as I said, the one who ordered them to do this, that intimidation, not just through police, military, but also through military and state intelligence. So if I type, this should be enough. And of course they covered up monstrous murders of 3 members of my family in every possible way. This video is the best proof how they did that. So I'm now showing those 3 former ministers of defense who had more than enough motivation to intimidate me and harass me, again through police, military, and military and state intelligence. So Serbian, of course. For 2 of them, like this one, this piece of shit who is now director of state intelligence. So for this guy there is more than enough evidence why he had motivation to do that. I'm creating this video as a so CNN wrote a piece about that guy because the United States government, United States federal government had some sort of sanctions against this guy, and of course the reason is illegal arms trade, they're doing that to hide that they are behind this. As I mean this rubbish pro-Russian head, yeah, right. So he was sanctioned. This is one of the videos, illegal arms trade and so on and so on. So all the details are in that video. So that guy, I just want to show the picture that's in the, so here, there he is. Serbian president pledges probe into active blah blah blah. Writing about this. This is the guy. This is Reuters. So, Defense Minister Vulin attends Moscow Conference on International Security. So he is now Director of State Intelligence, and he is supposedly pro-Russian guy, which is rubbish. You can see in my a lot of my videos that Russian doctor is responsible for injecting something and causing 4 cancers in my eye. And what is unbelievable is that Russian, so Russia is traditionally friend of Serbia, so Russian embassy ignores me, and I contacted Russian embassy because that hospital that was hosting doctors from Russia, this is Fyodorov Federal State Hospital, so this guy, this doctor is from that hospital, Fyodorov Federal State Russian Hospital. So they ignore me, and I of course contacted Russian embassy because that's their responsibility, and they ignore me 2 times. This is 2 years ago, this is now. So they're brutally ignoring me. So those, which of course means that both governments, United States federal government and Russian government, are so like this video says, they are, both of these 2 governments and a lot of other governments are under control of the same real mafia, which some people used to call and still call elite. So they are not elite, they are mafia. That's real mafia, which you don't read about them in that context. You read about them as some philanthropist, other rubbish. So this is rubbish, this thing with Russia. So this guy, I don't need to explain the motivation for this guy to intimidate me, but I need to show so ALEKSADAR VULIN. I need to show where he was Minister of Interior. So let's see biography. So this is Director, Minister of Defense from 2017, Minister of Interior 2020. So he was the one who was responsible for police intimidating me, because they started intimidating me, brutally intimidating me in the since, let me see, 26th of April 2022, and that continued even in 2023. I will show who was responsible at that time. So this guy is responsible for, I mean, it could not happen without his approval. Of course, it is impossible that police does something like that. Police knew very well when they were visiting. So they were intimidating me. I forgot to mention that, because that monster who murdered 3 members of my family, she also poisoned 3 kids, my brother's kids, to intimidate them. This degenerate and stupid bitch, this is her sister. So she gave guarantees for this monster. Both of them have major psych issues. So this guy is responsible for intimidation by police during 2022, because he was Minister of Interior during that time, and let's see, Minister of Defense. Yeah, and he is also responsible for police. No, he's not, because he was not Minister of Defense of that time. At that time, so he's not. He's only responsible for police intimidating me, and police knew very well. So that monster who murdered 3 members of my family and poisoned my brother's kids, children, 3 minors, she falsely reported me like 10 times for attacking her and stuff like that, and they were, although almost every time there were different police officers, so they pretended. None of them reported her false reporting. They just trying to blame the prosecution office. So they supposedly forwarded those false reports to prosecution offices, and of course prosecution offices won't give me those reports. So this guy was in charge, was responsible for police, for intimidation by police, but partly not for the part which happened in 2023, because I think they visited me once in 2023. I think it was 14th of February. I think that's Valentine's Day. But anyways, so he had a lot of motivation to intimidate me. So Minister of Defense, okay. So that was about this guy. Next is one who I'm going to introduce. Okay, I don't need this anymore. I need to close my windows, my tabs, because I don't have enough video memory, so, and memory in general. So next one is someone that I'm going to, also Minister of Defense, former Minister of Defense. So someone who I'm going to introduce through Spiegel. Article. So this guy, this piece of shit, he also was part of the scandal. I mean, there are documentaries by, I think, N1, which is CNN branch in the in Balkans. So this guy is president of Serbia, another piece of shit and faker. So you can see about this guy, so-called president. Let me see, I reported, yeah. And this, and so on and so on. So you can have a feeling who this guy is. So this guy, this piece of shit, was, as you can see from, so this is Spiegel, Ausland, and Spiegel said this guy illegale Waffengeschäfte. So Spiegel said that this guy is so he was at that time, what was the date? It should be end of 2019. Yeah. So at that time he was, as can be seen here, Minister of Interior. So also at that time police was intimidating me, so not really that much. So his motivation is very clear, more than clear, and I need to show his biography. So this is the guy, President of the National Assembly, so Minister of Interior, Vice President of Government and Minister of Interior. (2014) and again in 2016. The Minister of Defense in 2020. So during the period of 20 well, actually even 2015, when my grandfather was murdered, police was brutally covering up murder of my grandfather. So you can see here on my channel, if you type Marko Petrovic, that this guy Marko Petrovic refused to defend monstrous murder of my family in August 2017, which means that she is guilty. So I haven't finished that sentence regarding previous guy, ALEKSADAR VULIN. I started talking about police intimidating me during 2022. So when they were visiting, I mean, it's illegal to enter property without a warrant of prosecutor. They did that multiple times, and when they came here, I first showed them that I have cameras, surveillance cams. I asked them if they want to watch the records. They refused. They said there's no need to do that, but they still come here, and they confirmed multiple times that they know my channel and they watched my videos. So they knew very well what's happening, and that also I have 2 types of cancer, 2 types. And not to mention that my father was a police in reserve Civil War veteran. So that's him, monstrously murdered. So police covered that up. What was that? Okay. So this guy is responsible for police covering up monstrous murders on my family since 2015, because this is the time when I started investigating on my own what's happening. So police brutally covered up monstrous murder of my grandfather. Details in my video, in videos on my channel. So this is about his controversies about his PhD. So he was responsible for that part of police wrongdoings. I mean crimes committed by police, obstruction of justice, and so on and so on. So, and he was Minister of Defense since October 2020. So that's the time, and probably till 2022. So that's period. That is the period within which that police major that I mentioned at the beginning contacted me. So this guy is responsible for for that event, for military police major in intimidating me, and also during that time, no, not during that time, sorry. It was in 2019. Actually, maybe not 2019. Yeah, 2018, 2019. That was the time when police and military were sorry, not police, state and military intelligence. So there are a lot of them. I cannot really. So state and military intelligence were also intimidating me. I received death threats from them. Only they can do that. Everything is explained here. So the one who was at that time director of state intelligence and Minister of Defense was in charge of that. Maybe it was Vulin, maybe this guy. I'm not going to actually I need to open that part. I need to look again Vulin because I forgot it. So I forgot what was there. When was he the Minister of Defense? Yeah, he was responsible for that, 2017. So until 2020, so he was responsible for military intelligence and state intelligence, intimidating me. One of the two, or maybe two together, because they work both of them together, because they usually work in these cases, they work together. So the last guy is someone who I mentioned in a video. I mean, he is the subject of video related to BBC. This guy, at the time he was, when I contacted BBC, he was minister, no, not minister, let me see, this is 2015, 2021, he was director of state intelligence. So it says here that it's Bratislav GASIC. He's now this is the video through which I received death threats by some guy overlord. So prosecution, highest instances of prosecution did nothing. So let's see. So that's his name, and I will now show his bio to see for which part of intimidation he was in charge. So Wikipedia. So Minister of Defense from 2014 to 2016. February 2016, so he was not responsible for during that period for anything related to military. Then from 2017 until 2022 he was director of state intelligence, so he was responsible for state intelligence sending those death threats. Then he is now Minister of Interior, so he was responsible for police intimidation in 2023, for police intimidating me, so that was his part. And of course for the previous two I showed the proofs what was their motivation, but so these previous two were ministers of defense. He was also Minister of Defense, but during that period the illegal arms trade was not a thing, so I need to prove his involvement in illegal arms trade after it was a thing, after it was a scandal, after major news, major world popular newspapers started writing about that. So I showed Spiegel writing about that, and also Deutsche Welle wrote about that. So this is around the same date, so that's this December 2019. Again, this guy, this piece of shit, is second wife of that Ivkovic, real moron. And of course this guy is also moron. So what I wanted to show is motivation of this guy. What was that? Yeah. And father of this guy was also not this piece of shit. Okay, so now for the end of this video I want to show motivation, actually involvement of this guy who is now, as I said, Minister of Interior, so Minister of Police, Bratislav Gašić, and I'm showing here his involvement or his motivation after that scandal with illegal arms trade broke out. And one more time, the one who is behind this, I prove that without any shadow of doubt, is United States federal government. So this and this are more than enough to confirm that I'm right. So what I'm now showing is intelligence. Last month, allegations about Serbia, Ukraine came through intelligence, blah blah blah. Okay, this is so this part is important. So it says here, and this is during the period when this guy was director of intelligence, so nothing could happen without his knowledge. So during that period, prosecution of course was silent, because their masters from drillers and pieces of shit and stupid fucks from United States government, actually United States Embassy, directly controlled by United States federal government. Every embassy is directly controlled by their government. That's a fact. So last week, Serbian media reported that prosecutors for organized crime So they're deeply involved in organized crime. They're deeply involved, as can be seen in my videos, in cover-up of monstrous murders of 3 members of my family, which includes poisoning of 3 minors. So a lot of videos about them. This is the guy, the piece of shit, who is at the top of that, chief prosecutor of that prosecution, again prosecution for organized crime. So I think that this video, list of crimes, no, or maybe hierarchy. So from this video it can be seen that prosecution for organized crime is one of the most important prosecutions in state in Serbia. The only one who is above that prosecution, they are even above in that list, even above prosecution of appeals. The only one who is above them is Supreme Former Republic Prosecution. This is chief prosecutor. She's DA, subject of my video, of that Supreme Prosecution. So by the way, the prosecution for organized crime, since I don't know, like starting from like a month ago, they don't want to answer my phone because I asked them previously to tell me who is in charge, which prosecutor is in charge of that investigation on illegal arms trade related to Serbia. So where was I? Reported that prosecutors for organized crime had contacted the country, so state intelligence. So that guy GASIC was at that time director over the case. So the case of illegal arms trade related to Serbia, the military and civilian, again, state intelligence. It's not usually civilian, but state. I don't know why they use this combo. Agencies were asked to gather information about claim of preferential treatment in Krušik weapons sales. So, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, that affair was actually a PSYOP, psychological operation or false flag operation, to hide that illegal arms trade is actually happening since the beginning of 2000s. And again, more details, I mean a lot of details, are in this video, which YouTube always put at the bottom. So they probably cannot make a difference, cannot tell if I'm searching for these videos if they don't probably check it out, if somebody else. So this is what happened definitely when some people go to my channel and search for this term. They put the most important video on that at the bottom. So as can be seen here, that guy GASIC had direct, this is direct connection to the illegal arms trade. And as I said, the whole thing with this scandal was to hide who is really behind this. And that's, as I showed, is United States federal government. So I think that would be all regarding 3 ministers of Defense, former Ministers of Defense, and their motivation to intimidate and harass me through police, military, and state and military intelligence. And that will be the title of this video.